Hello all, hope you are doing practice. And today we came up with one of the most beautiful concept in JavaScript, that is arrow function expressions. Okay, normally we can call it as arrow functions. And okay, definitely we should know like what is the function statement and what is a function expression. Already we have gone through all details already in that playlist. So now today we are going to understand what is arrow function, what is the syntax of that, and what is the use of it. And we should learn in which situation we should use the arrow function. At the same time, we should know in which situations we should not use the arrow functions also. Okay, that one I will cover in a separate video. But in this video, we are going to understand what is an arrow function and what is the simple advantage with that. So let's jump into the code. VS Code and just write some simple function. I'm writing a simple function. Suppose if you want to find the area of a square, so area of square. So simple. What we need a value, one side value, and so that what you can do, you can return a into a. So that if you provide one value and with this simple formula you can find you can calculate the area of a square. This is a simple function. So but here he is saying arrow function expression. So what is the meaning of expression? So this is not the function expression, this is a function statement. Okay, this is function statement. Hopefully you're aware of function statement. And what is a function expression? It's very simple. If you store a function into a variable, and if you are able to write like this same functionality, so I'm not changing anything, so just syntax wise it is different. And of course when it comes to the execution, there are few difference are there, already we have covered in a separate video. So this is a function expression. So simple. If you store any function and into a variable, suppose if you are using a function as a variable, uh, like this is a syntax for that, then it is called a function expression. So fine. Okay, whether suppose arrow functions can are useful in a function expressions. So now if you see, now how can we simplify? So let's write convert this simple area of a square, this function expression, into a arrow function. So now I'm writing arrow function. So same, how can you write var area of a square? So I'm just copying this, so that just observe carefully what is the difference between this function. Okay, I will remove this because we don't need to discuss in detail about this here. To avoid confusion, I'm just using a function expression itself. And here, how to convert this function expression into a arrow function expression, or you can call it as arrow function. Okay, don't worry. So what I'm doing, I'm just putting everything into one line so that it's easy to understand. Okay, so what are the things are there here? The function keyword and this parenthesis and a function body and the statements symbol. Okay, so if you want to convert this into an arrow function, it's very simple. So what we need to do, just copy exactly. Okay, copy exactly. So what I'm doing, just remove this function keyword. Okay, just remove this function keyword and give a arrow after that parenthesis. What we did, just remove function keyword before this parenthesis and just give a arrow symbol after parenthesis. That's it. This is arrow function. Yes, this is arrow function. So you can do it if you want. You can test it whether it is working or not. So this one I'm just giving like 1, 2, 3. Suppose let's see whether it is working or not. And area of a square will work the same fashion. So I'm just doing console.log. Okay, area of a square, and if you give 3, so and in the same way area of square 3. Okay, here like syntax wise only, so otherwise 2, because we just this here we for a reference we just copied here. Okay, other than that nothing there. So if you see, both will work in a similar way. So just refresh. So if you see, you got the result 9 and 9 for both the one. So that means both are working similarly. There is no problem with that. Okay. So so now we can compare this one. So even if you see, we can simplify 2 more levels actually. So that's the beauty of arrow functions. So if you see, I'm writing, suppose anyway we are using var, that's why it doesn't show any error even if you use the same name, right? If you use let, it will throw an error. So right now you guys understand that it is working fine. So please do practice along with me. So if you see, I'm going to simplify this statement into uh, much more deeper, easiest way. So here in arrow functions, so once you move this function keyword and replace with this arrow symbol, this is the arrow function. And now what you can do, suppose if you have only one statement in the function body in this, so what you can do now, you can remove return also. Suppose you don't need this semicolon, return, and you can remove this curly braces. So if you see how simple is this, yes, we can do that. If you have only one statement, suppose if you have a multiple statement in that function body, yes, definitely we can go with curly brace and return. But if you have a one thing, because for this example we have only one thing, only one statement in that function body, in this total curly braces we have only one thing. So in the arrow function what we can do, so if we have only one statement, we can remove this return and curly brace. So this JavaScript engine will work as it is. Suppose this one and this one are equal. It will work similarly. So it will take care of returning that value. If you want to see, so I'm just putting comment for this. Okay, this also. So what is the area of square? So I just do a console.log area of a square. Simple, right? So just sorry, you should invoke that function. So I'm just giving 5 now. So 5 into 5, it is 25, and it will give the output as 25. It's working perfectly, right? Yes, this is a next second level. So we have done, okay, this we have converted a normal function expression into arrow function, and then we simplified much more easiest way. So now we can do one more thing also. Yes. So if you see, I'm just copying here, copying this. Suppose if you have only one parameter, okay, if you have only one parameter, you no need to use the parenthesis also. Now you see how beautiful is this? How beautiful is this JavaScript? Yes, this it will work perfect. It will work perfectly. If you want to see, it's just I'm just commenting this thing. Okay. So here area of a square, I'm just giving 6. 6 into 6, 36. It's working fine. This is arrow function. This is simply arrow function. Okay. So if you have multiple statements, yes, you should go with a curly brace and you should maintain the return statement, return keyword. And if you have a multiple parameters, yes, we should use the parenthesis. But most of the cases in like in our JavaScript programming in the daily usage, sometimes we don't have too many statements in the function body, and we sometimes we have only one parameter in that the parenthesis. So in that situation, okay, this is the simplest code. So if you see sometimes if you are really new to the JavaScript and if you didn't learn these things, literally you will get a lot of confusion. What is this? A arrow A into A. What is this? This is simply a function. This is simply an arrow function. That's what it is. Okay, understood? If you understand, just put understand or yes or something in the comment if you're interested. Otherwise, no need. So that I can understand that whether you guys are understanding or not. For that only. And now, okay, what you need to do? Normally, what people do, Raghu, this is very simple. So that arrow functions are very syntax wise. Okay, so far we have discussed only syntax wise only. So syntax wise, it's very easy. So now, if I create any kind of function in our programming, I'm going to use arrow functions only. So don't stop. Don't do that. Don't do that because we should know when to use arrow function and we should clearly understand in which situation we should not use arrow functions. Yes, there are some pros and cons with the arrow functions. Of course, we can't say that cons like that, disadvantage like that, but we should not use arrow functions in some situations because of some other good reasons only. So that we should learn all those things. Okay, if you want to become a good JavaScript developer or a programmer, we should learn all these things. Okay, so of course, I will cover those things in a separate video, but here, before stopping this video, we should learn few more interesting things here. Okay, let's see. So suppose I will create another simple function and we can convert into arrow functions. Please do practice because just create minimum 5 to 6 function expressions and just convert into arrow function and test it whether it's working or not. Okay, with multiple parameters, with single parameter, with multiple statement, with a single statement, and in that combination you should do practice. Okay, without doing practice, don't expect good things. Okay, so now I'm creating another function. Simply we know that addition, okay, addition of two numbers, suppose a comma b, a comma b. So here we can return a plus b. This is very simple, right? So we can convert into a function expression. So where addition equal to a simple function. Okay, this it is expecting a comma b because it is has two things, return a plus b. Okay, so now let's convert it into arrow function. So you should remember the rules. So var addition. So what we need to do, we should remove. Okay, first let me copy this to here and just remove this function keyword and just put arrow in between parentheses and the function body. This is the arrow function. Now just recollect what are the rules. So if you have only one statement, yeah, we no need to use return and we no need to go with the curly brace. That's fantastic. And now here we have two values. If you have one parameter, we can remove the parenthesis also. But right now we have two things. So that this is the simplest syntax for this function. Okay. Now suppose in some situation, we will return an object. We will return an object. In that situation, if you try to convert that function into arrow function, and if you follow these rules, let's see, is there any problem or not? Yes, there is a problem, so that we should understand that scenario. So here, suppose imagine I'm just creating another function like a student. It's like student. If I call this function, it will return student object. Okay. Okay. First name colon Vijay. Okay. And the last name colon K something. So you can provide your name detail. So what this function is doing, if you call this function, it will return an object. It is returning an object. So let me convert into function expression. So this is a function student equal to a function. This is the syntax, right? Simplest syntax. And of course, maybe we are not expecting any variable. Suppose if you want, you can provide the first name and last name also. Okay, and you can bind here. Okay, okay. To make it simple, I'm just not taking anything. I'm just hard coded the values. So here, what we are doing, it is returning the object. So let me write return the object. It has a first name and the last name properties. First name and last name properties, simple. So naturally, suppose if you want to convert into arrow function, what we will do, where student is equal to here, normally just copy this, and according to our discussion, just remove the function keyword and just replace with this arrow after the parenthesis. Now we can understand one more thing. So if you have only one statement, because this is only simple one line of code, right? So that so for what we have done, we have removed the return and we have removed the parenthesis as well, right? So if you see in this situation, it is already showing an error. It is expecting a semicolon. Okay, where I need to put a semicolon in the object. Here, here. Is this the right syntax? Can we do like this? If you want to create any property in the object, we will use a colon, right? But why VS Code is saying the semicolon? Okay, let it leave that like and just try to invoke this function called student. What will happen? Okay, just try to invoke that function. So definitely it will throw an error, hopefully. So it is showing it is throwing an error unexpected token colon. So one thing is actually syntax wise this is wrong. Okay, this is wrong. Okay, whenever you're converting a normal function into an arrow function, whenever you're dealing with the arrow function, this is very important thing. So whenever you're returning an object, if you don't use return statement and the curly braces, it will throw an error. Okay, reasons we can discuss later, but how to avoid this one, simply in this situation what we need to do now, we should give a extra parenthesis here. Okay, now no problem. Okay, understand it. Like most of the beginners don't know this. That's why they will get a lot of um, they will face a lot of problem while doing programming. Okay, especially when we are dealing with React.js. Okay, and in React.js we have component did mount and some callback functions. A lot of things are there, right? If you are aware, maybe you can understand. Otherwise, no problem. No problem. Anyway, we are going to learn React also very soon. So if you see now, it will work perfectly. So invoke, okay, it will return. So that I need to put a console.log here so that it will log the output of this function invocation. Function invocation. Just refresh. It's the boom. It's working. So be careful. Be careful whenever you are using arrow function, and in that situation, suppose if you're returning this, because simply even we can understand that if you use this curly brace here, okay, because it will JavaScript engine have some confusion whether it is a function body curly brace or a object curly brace. It's very difficult for JavaScript engine to understand, right? So that's why, because if you see here, it is clear that this one is a, a block, right? Block. But here it will treat this yellow box as a block of that function, and then it will start understanding this first name colon Vijay comma last name colon K. So that syntax wise, suppose if you don't have a curly brace, because JavaScript engine is treating this is a block. It is not thinking that this is a part of an object. So and it is thinking like that. This so first name colon Vijay, comma last name colon K. What the hell is this? Okay. Hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say. So if whenever you're returning an object, please be careful. Just wrap into a parenthesis so that it will understand clearly that okay, this intelligent fellow is trying to return object, okay, in this situation, so it will solve the problem. So this is like lots of beautiful things are there with arrow functions, and yeah, in some situations we should not use arrow function, in some situation we should use arrow functions, so that you can understand asynchronous programming. So tomorrow, like in the next video, we are going to enter into asynchronous programming. Of course, I will cover this do's and don'ts of arrow function very soon. Or even suppose if you want to learn quickly, if you don't want to waste the time, just start reading the documentation. So here he has explained everything. Everything means if you see this documentation, if we just scroll down little bit. So if you see in some situation, so this is what I have explained now. So whenever you are returning an object, it will throw in a syntax error that already we have discussed, and so cannot be used as methods. So in the object, don't use arrow functions as methods. This is one situation. So in the same way, a lot of things are there. So of course, I will explain in detail in a separate video. But please start reading the documentation. Okay, now you are not a school student, because if you learn this execution context and all these functions, arrow functions, and callback functions, now you are in a good position. If you suppose if you have done a practice, otherwise I can't say. If you have done a practice of all the previous videos, now you're absolutely ready to you can read these documentations and you can understand easily. So you should become a professional now. So a lot of things are there, but don't try to read everything on a single day, and if you don't understand something, don't disappoint. So JavaScript is really tough, um, especially in few topics. Okay, so learn slowly and properly. Okay, that's all for today, and see you in the next video. And we are going to enter into asynchronous JavaScript. I love teaching this asynchronous JavaScript. So if you want to learn, stay tuned and do practice. Please do practice. Without practicing this video, without practicing what is callback function, it's very difficult to understand what is asynchronous programming. So please learn in a sequence properly. Okay, that's all for today, and bye bye.